Hey, 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 feasters, and happy Halloween. If you're here in the live, thank you so much for being here. I'm reading off two screens, I'm sorry. But if you're here, would you hit that like button for me? Interact in the chat and with the chat amongst the subject that we're going to be talking about. Share this video if you like. And remember to subscribe to the channel. So therefore, whenever I drop my next video or go live, you will be notified. Make sure you click that bell to all so you'll receive all content. Hi guys, how are you guys doing? Drop something in the chat for me. Hi, Karen. How are you doing, babe? I I need to talk to you. I'm just not over where you are right now, if that makes sense. But let's get on into the content, you guys. I hope you guys have been good. The weekend starts tonight for me because I took off. But if you would hit this like button out, share it on any and every platform if you can. Hi, Princess Strickland. I'm gonna let a few more people come in. Hi, that's a member of mine, Prince Roz. Prince Roz, we're gonna talk about your membership because I'm still seeing it on my end, but I'm not sure what Google is doing, and it's still coming out for the $9.99. We'll talk about that. I'll try to email you about it. Yeah, we're okay, Karen. Everything's good. I'm just not in the vicinity, or should I say, the same time as you. So, guys, tonight, you see that title where it says The True Story of Ruthie Mae McCoy, the bathroom mirror mercs. So, since it's Halloween, I decided to come with a story time. And it's a true story, guys. We all knew about Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, and all of. And we know about other horror stories too, right? So Candyman was a horror story for me growing up. I think it was the bees for me. It wasn't the hook on the hand. So if you guys remember Candyman, put a one in the chat. If you're in the live, put a one in the chat. So therefore, Candyman himself, I used to be iffy because it was the bees and stuff about him. Didn't know at the time that it was a true story, you know? And y'all would not believe is a story out of Chicago. That's a true story that Candyman was written on it. Do I think, in my opinion, I don't think it showed just to the family and to the victim because it was a true story. Now, we're not talking about the myths over in England. We're talking about a true story that happened in the United States of America in Chicago. So back in 1987, Ruthie Mae McCoy, when it come down to it, she called the cops about someone trying to, break into her home invasion and stuff, right? Yeah, this is a true story. You guys can look it up. So she called the cops and to put in the complaint of that someone was trying to break into her house. Now, Ruthie, when it come down to it, she lived in Albert Holmes, Chicago project housing, guys. Like the 4400 block, you can look it up as public records in apartment 1109. Now, are those housing complexes still there? I think it's something there besides that. I'm not sure. But anyways, the story from the movie Candyman in 1992 originated from this true story. So therefore, the guy, like I told y'all before, Candyman with the hook, got the bees over him. If you say his name 5 times in the mirror, he will come before you. So back in 1987, Ruthie decided to call the cops because she had been hearing someone in her walls. She didn't know what it was, but she called the cops and she told them that, I'm here alone and someone's trying to get through my walls. Now, let's do a little recap of Ruthie. Ruthie is a 52-year-old woman that lives in housing and that is unmarried with 1 child and 2 grandkids that live alone on a regular basis. The housing for her after she had became an elder was better for her to live in besides just living her own. All of us gonna get there. I'm 45. Shoot, I'm waiting to see mine. So therefore, she did what was smart to do. She moved into the house, and before that, it was another tenant by Ruthie. She had been murdered, and they couldn't figure out why, but the housing unit knew. They knew, y'all. They knew. They had the blueprints. They knew. When it come down to it, they put that up as if the other Ruthie was unalive from a break-in, but that's not what happened. So, therefore, back in 1987, the way they used to make housing buildings back then, especially up north, it was not just a crawl space, guys. It was actually to where a man at least 6 feet, about 200 pounds, would be able to walk in between walls, in between the walls, for maintenance, for anything, for bathrooms and everything. So that's what the blueprint was back in 1987, which the blueprint should have had been changed, because blueprints of other project housing, they had changed, the newer ones, but they weren't going back there trying to seal those things up. So as time go by, Ruthie continued to complain to the housing authorities about, I keep hearing someone in my walls. So they wrote it off as if, she's elder, she's not all there, blah, blah, blah. And other tenants, they neglected the problems that they had. So therefore, as time went on, Ruthie kept, hearing it. It was constant break-ins into the homes, and no one left their doors unlocked and things like that. Now remember, this crawl space, what I'm talking about. So therefore, they couldn't figure out the problem. They just couldn't figure it out. Even after tenant behind tenant kept saying that, someone's in the walls. So on April the 27th of 1987, Ruthie Mae McCoy called the police, the Chicago Police Department, city that is. So therefore, she called him. And when she called, she tried to explain, someone's on the wall. I think they're trying to come through. I'm here by myself. Y'all get over here. At the time, the police looked at it as if, that sounds drastic and kind of crazy. Are you sure you're hearing people in your walls? Because think about it. If someone told you, I heard something in the wall, you're going to think to yourself, have they been drinking, smoking, or what's wrong? So that's exactly how the police chopped it up, instead of coming to find out. Now, she called the second time. When she called the second time, the police did come out. The police came out, and what happened? They knocked on the door. When they knocked on the door, they got no answer. They stayed for a while, and they still got no answer. At the time, Ruthie was afraid, because for the past 2 months, she had been using the bathroom, 1 and 2, fecal matter and urine, in a bucket. And she was so afraid to use her bathroom, she used it in a bucket and would have to carry it down 11 flights. So therefore, that was enough as is. So she wouldn't open the door for the cops. So they chopped it up as if, nothing's wrong. So Ruthie, at this time, 2 days passed. She hadn't been to the store and nothing had happened. And her friend Deborah, which is her neighbor, she used to sit Deborah's kids and whatnot, like single women do. Deborah had 7 kids. And so therefore, Deborah asked the maintenance to go and check on her, which they didn't. They called the police back. So when the police came back the second time, they got no answer. The housing authorities told them, if you break the door down, the city of Chicago will be responsible, because the tenant have the right to sue you for doing so. So they're doing a wellness check. Oh my God, it was just a lot. When I found out, the Chicago Police Department felt as if we don't have that in our budget to make sure our citizens of this state is okay. At that time in 1987, they made that decision. So they decided not to break down the door and leave. All the time, a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days go by, no Ruthie. Deborah, noticing by now she would have been unwalked by the store, so she started harassing the landlord of the project housing again to make the police go in. At this time, they call the police back, they give the police the key, they walk in, something that they should have did the first time. When the police entered the apartment, of course, Miss Ruthie Mae McCoy. And I give my condolences to her family and to her. She was there and had been executed to where red stuff was all around her. She was laying in a puddle of it, and she was unalived. She had been powed about 9 times and left for 4 days that the city of Chicago could have checked in the first time, and she unalived or passed, suffering because no one was there to open the door, and the city of Chicago did not want to have to pay for the door. So no one checked on her. As time went by, it was a mystery when they did come into the house. How did she pass? There's no break in, there's nothing disturbed in the house. Remember, all along, she was stating that someone was trying to be in between her walls. Now, let's get to Candyman. As we recall that movie, Stephen, I've forgotten his name, guys. You can look it up, though. The writer of Candyman. I'm going to tell you my opinion about it. I think it was somewhat of a disgrace for the victims and their families during this because they turned around and made a movie off of a myth, really, over in England. And it was a true story, and they involved the story from Chicago to make the movie Candyman. And I couldn't believe that they took on to the myth besides the true story. So therefore, he wrote the story. Candyman was popular. You guys know that. We still know who he is. And I think the last one was made like in 2000 something or something like that, which was very good. At the end of the day, Ruthie, when it come down to it, had been telling them for the longest. And before she called the cops, this is what happened. She was living in her living room at the time. And when I say living in it, she was confined. She confined herself to that room because she was afraid of the rest of her home. So therefore, she's living in her front room and she's watching television one day. And it was 2 to 3 kids just run out of her back room. They run through the front door. They run out. The other trip over a broom. He fall. He get up. He's laughing. And she hears something. It's in the bathroom. So as time go by, she gets up. She's afraid. And that's why I say as time go by, because she's like, I don't have kids. I'm a grandmother. These are not my grandkids. Where did these kids just come from? She finally rose up off the couch and went into the bathroom. She see that it's something disproportioned on her wall, which is her mirror. But she don't know why. So she's looking at it. She decided to start fixing it. And right before she fixed it, boom. There's a whole kid that's stuck in between her walls coming out of her mirror. Okay? So therefore, she helped the kid out. He gets out. She explains it to housing. So when she called the cops, housing knew the problems, not just from that Ruthie, but the Ruthie that had also passed the week previous and other tenants. They did nothing of it, guys. When it come down to it, they found out, long story short, when it come down to the suspects, when they unalived her in her home, since things were taken like a television, they took a rocking chair, guys. That was kind of weird. Because that's kind of close to, what a rocking chair is. And when you sit, I know my favorite chair when I sit in it, it's my thoughts. And I like my chair because of that, because I can think. And so me hearing that they took a rocking chair, I was like, wow. They took a television and things out of her apartment, different materials, electronics, anything they can get their hands on. So therefore, the police came back. And of course, they're doing the murk scene at this time. They're finding all kinds of things that they're asking housing about, but housing is acting as if it's just nonchalant. Like, okay, stuff happens. What you want us to do about it? Well, if they would have sealed off that man tunnel throughout the Albert housing, that wouldn't have never happened. It would have never happened. She left her grandkids and her daughter um, still here. As far as in the suspects, come to find out, it was four. Um, when it come down to it, a teen even. He was like 16 or 17 years old. They went to court. All of them did get charged for her murk, and they got it was justice. I'll say that. At the end of the day, my moral to the story is never take things for granted. Um, Always care about the next or the fellow man of yours because you would want someone to feel in like that about you. When it come down to it, I just could not believe that even within family, because she had one brother that showed up for court, of why did they take it to the next steps of someone need to be responsible. And I feel as if the city itself of Chicago with the housing authorities and the police department should have been held responsible. She was a grandmother. She was a citizen. She supposed to have trusted her landlords that they would do the right things, and they didn't. And it cost her her life. The housing unit also tried to act as if they tried to defend themselves before anything could have came up against them to justify that they had neglected a tenant. And not just her, it's more than her. Like I said, it was another Ruthie that passed a week previous. And it's like the same exact thing. They could not find out how they got into the home. So therefore, when the movie, as in Candyman, was, this is why I felt some sort of way of that they made the movie seem or made your perception of watching it as if it was the mythology otherwise era of that's where they found it from, but it's not. They mixed it together and it came from a true story. It was someone's life. She was a human being. And I would just like to honor Ruthie Mae McCoy because she seemed like she was an awesome person, guys. And as far as in Steven, it's a great movie, great producer, writer, what have you. I think he should have involved her story more, just giving her and her life respect. When it come down to it, the story of Candyman tells none of that story. It tells none of it. The only thing it used was the medicine cabinet. And it took us to an evil, wicked place instead of what happened, even though it was unjustable and it was evil, but I would have appreciated if they would have respected truthfully where that story came from. So when you look in the mirror and you're thinking about the movie Candyman, 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 and Candyman, stating it 5 times, I don't think about the movie no more. When I think about his name now for like the past month when I heard the story, I think about Ruthie. Of that, it was nothing of that nature. And y'all, I have been scared of Candyman ever since I was little bitty. So now I'm not like when I hear it now, it's like, you know, it's not real. But then it's like, oh, that was based on a true story, and they didn't bring light to it. I don't think it brought any justice to as far as in what they were trying to get the public to receive into the movie. I don't think it was respectful either. But I would like to remember her because that's a story I don't think I would have ever, when it come down to it, just stumbled over in a news article, you know? And I think everyone's life should be celebrated when it come down to it. But Ruthie Mae McCoy, baby, we salute you, Queen. We salute you because her life stood and had a present in people's life. Her life did. It changed people's lives. And her grandbabies will always remember her just like her daughter. And so with her brother was so upset during trial. He was just like, if I knew my sister was going through this, that, and the other, I would have got my sister from there. But, that's why I tell you, nothing is more embarrassing when it come down to it if you don't speak up to the ones that love you and you love. Hi, Royalty Queen. Thank you for being here, darling. But Ruthie didn't talk to anyone. She was embarrassed. She thought that they would think that she was crazy. So when she would hear things in her bathroom, to where she had pushed things up against the bathroom door so they couldn't come into her home, and knowing if she called her brother or neighbor or whomever next, that they would only think that something's not right. Is she all there? So she didn't want to be looked at or perceived to be like insane. And I think all of us want that. That's why I always say don't be quick to judge, anyways, but find out what's going on with someone, because she had no one. Obviously, even though, you hear me saying she had a brother, she had a daughter, she had a friend, but were they close enough for her to tell them her deepest secrets and her thoughts, for her not to feel embarrassed afterwards? Obviously not, because she didn't tell them. I mean, walking 11 flights, carrying your own feces and urine. Are you serious? Can you only imagine that? That's what she was doing. Just so, therefore, they wouldn't chop her up to where she was insane. And the housing knew that this was happening because other tenants had been complaining about things missing from in their homes and stuff like that. Well, the 17-year-old took the television back home to his mother. He didn't call the cops. He saw her body. He claimed that he wasn't involved, just like the other three, that they all just stumbled over to her home because they saw different things left out, and they decided to come over and get it. But my thing is that if it's not saying free, take, anyone can have free, I don't think you should bother it. I don't care if someone get evicted. Could you imagine getting evicted and you don't have anywhere to go and all of your belongings are outside and people is just free for all? I couldn't fathom that. So my condolences to Ruthie, her children, her offsprings, her grands, her family, because the housing unit and the police department neglected her well-being. And I don't think that it'll ever be justice for her of what happened to her. It'll never be. I know that they got caught. I don't think it's enough. Is justice really justice? That's the thing about it. When you speak amongst justice. But yeah, guys, the trick-or-treaters are, it's getting dark here. So I'm thinking after a while, it's got like a couple of more minutes or whatnot. I would say an hour or so to get dark. But they'll be pulling up soon. But if you guys would, and shouts out to Black Tea. Thank you so much, babe, for becoming a member to the channel. If you guys would, make sure you share out this live. Make sure you like this live if you would. And membership badges are available. You would want to become a member of the channel. There's 2 levels. We're going to be doing some awesome things. So therefore, I need you as a member to give you those things, because certain things won't be put onto the channel. But check the membership out if you guys would. Please and thank you. Hit that like button if you would. Leave a comment. Share this live. I don't care on what platform, if you're really here for us, sister. But I don't want you guys to forget this story, because I would have never known. I would have thought it was just another horror story until I stumbled over it. And hell, I found out Glorilla around here singing Aretha Franklin song, child. I mean, I told my auntie about it, and I was like, that Gorilla Girl, something had came on in my truck, and I was talking to my aunt, And I know this is off subject, but I was talking to my aunt, and she was like, "Who is that, Nikki?" I was like, "Oh, that's that Gorilla Girl." And she was like, "I know that song." I said, "I hope you don't mind me now. My auntie like 60-something, 70. I'm like, I hope you don't." She was like, "Yes, I do." And she started talking, and she say, "Patty LaBelle, Rita." I said, "Oh, whoa." So she was like, "I'm pretty sure it was one of them. That's a song. That's not her song." So I was like, "What?" And so I guess she Googled it on her pad and she played it. Y'all, tell me why when she sent it to me to play, it popped up on Instagram, TikTok too. Of that, when it come down to it, it was on TikTok and Instagram, and it was a whole song. Of course, I guess the videos didn't go viral, so I didn't see them. But it's a whole song. Y'all look that up. Glorilla. Uh, Baby mom, look up Glorilla, honey. When it come down to it, and it's seven is not. I ain't got no and no ain't got me. That song right there, Aretha Franklin, y'all actually sang that song, and when I heard it talking about somebody bust a side, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I had no idea this was a true story. Yes, it is, Karen. It is so much so. Hello, beautiful baby mama in chat. I was here listening and didn't want to interrupt. Oh, you good, baby. Thank you for being here. But shouts out too. If you guys want the whole ordeal and detail of it, it's online. It's public records. You'll see it, you'll find it. But I didn't want to put a title on as Candyman because this is not about Candyman. It's about how Candyman got discovered. But this story and true story is really about Ruthie Mae McCoy. Y'all know, never forget her name. Send some prayers up for her and her family or whatnot. And let's pray that when it come down to it, this kind of thing don't happen again, because things are steady happening, but in life every day. So like I say all the time, like my mom used to say, and I'm getting older, and I say what she say now. You have to stay prayed up, and that's what's gonna get us through. I heard about that. Very crazy, right, Nisha? You had live. No, you in Ohio. I was gonna say you had live over there. Yeah. So the puppies have a party to go to tonight, which is a Halloween party. But I'm tell y'all, it's a Halloween party for pets, right? But what's gonna happen? We don't get ratchet at our kids' birthday party. Kids' birthday party is a kid's birthday party. We don't turn it into no adult, give the red cups out as they get later. No, we don't do that right here. But pet. Child, we fixing to go over here. They're gonna give their little costume parties. I had my Halloween party night before last, and I was just worn out. That's why I took off today to recuperate. So tonight they're gonna have their party, and I'll be there with them with snacks and treats. Today play themselves out in their costumes, because the only thing gonna happen, all the little puppies gonna get together and tear each other costumes up. We ain't gonna talk about it. Okay. Their costumes piece about $24. And that's still too much because I fit it out. But I know that's what they're going to do. Yeah, Nisha, not the puppy party. Yes, girl, the puppy party. So I might take some pictures if I don't forget. I always forget. Baby mom, listen to what I'm saying, man. When I went to Starbucks the other morning when I got off the live, y'all, I thank all y'all that was on that long live with me, because I was talking to you guys, and shouts out to I Am Saber. Y'all help me. I was working. You hear me? If I'm up late like that at night, child, I ain't just on no live. I'm trying to get every Z she can get. And that night, I had so much to do. I finished before I thought I would. And I thought that I would, well, from what I predicted of what I had to do, I wouldn't have got done till 10. Since I had someone to talk to and people were interacting, when it come down to it, y'all had help. It did me. Y'all really did. I had got a lot of stuff did this weekend store because of it. So I appreciate all of you guys. Again, shout outs to my members. When it come down to you guys, consider a membership. I want to do something special with you guys. All that want to, no pressure. At the end of the day, when I if I give content out here, that means it's on my time. No, YouTube is going to pay me for it. At the end of the day, you have to have participants. My thing is that if I'm going to come here and I'm going to do content, and for all of us to have fun, it's just not my channel. When it comes down to it, I take out time from my real life that I do have, guys. So therefore, if I take out time right now, I'm supposed to be working, but I put it off until later on. But my thing is, sometimes if I'm going to come back on this platform like I was, that took a lot of time out of my time. And if I'm not getting compensated back, I'm just going to tell the truth. I'll be losing. And I ain't never dived into nothing to lose nothing. So therefore, if I'm going to drop it on a consistent, and that's why I needed and wanted members, because for you guys, I will be and show up there when it come down to it amongst the time, because you pay for a membership and make it make sense, just telling the truth. So therefore, now I'm a hater. Y'all don't do that. We ain't talking about y'all naysayers, y'all haters, yeah. Cloud chasers, just bitter ass people. We ain't talking about you. We know you exist. You gonna be here. And you got a job too. Do your job. And I'm gonna pray so your job won't be fulfilled over here. But hi, Miss Rita Brad. How are you doing, babe? So I thank you all. If you're hearing the replay, as I said before, hit that like button, leave me a comment. Make sure your notification bell is turned on to all, meaning it's filled in, so you'll get notified whenever I drop any piece of content, a live, a post, or a video. Make sure you like the video, guys, if you would, and you want to see us to come up, and you want us to do this, share me out, no matter what platform it is. It is for free. It really is for free. So, Miss Rita Brad is speaking to Princess Strickland and Royalty Queen. Hello, Miss Brad. Meet Anisha LTV and my mom, Karen. They're nice women. Anisha is my baby mom. That don't be trying to talk about me behind my bike with my baby mom, nobody on the platform, okay? Because my baby mom, and I ain't got time to be paying child support and messing around with y'all, trying to get me in trouble. No homo, but that's my baby mom. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to briefly come by. I've been on for like 32 minutes, and that's all I wanted to do. So remember to always, you guys, feast on life and love, and remember to stay you 100% you, no matter what. And until our next one, I'll see you guys then. I love you guys. Stay safe and good night.